Hello, I'm ToycatA, and if you've been following the snapshot or beta process for 1.17 so far, you're probably very familiar with the fact that they're adding brand new caves into the Caves and Cliffs update. There are going to be donut caves and cheese caves and spaghetti caves and aquifers. You've probably heard about all of those terms individually, and although it's very clear that someone at Mojang was very hungry when they came up with these names, it's not very clear what exactly this means when you combine it all together and add it to Minecraft. It's not clear how this will be changing the mining and caving behavior in Minecraft beyond lots of cool individual caves, but while I was working on an entirely unrelated 1.17 video, I really started to appreciate just how much the underground was changing, and I wanted to share that revelation with all of you today because I wanted to show you a huge cave that will take me literally minutes to fly through because of the combination of all of these different things, and I wanted to do so in today's video to help you understand exactly how much Minecraft's changing and why they make lots of subtle changes by themselves that seem to take a lot of time but really do add up. So we're going to drink a 3-minute night vision potion. I'm going to remind you that, hey, did you know greater than 99% of house fires happen to people who aren't subscribed to the ToycatA YouTube channel? And now we're going to start flying through this cave. Bear in mind that right now I am flying through a cave and I'm not going to be doubling back myself until later. I am flying straight forwards in a direction. This is faster than walking, and yet despite flying, I'm going to see 1, a lot of cave, a lot of ores, a lot of very interesting things, and 2, it's going to take me a very long time to find the end of this cave, to find a wall where I'd have to dig and find other things. Prior to 1.17, when you found a lot of caves together, usually it meant that you found like a whole bunch of tunnels and you could explore the tunnels, but you had to kind of do it, you know, like kind of like a maze. You went through them one by one, hoping you found things. No, after this update, you can find giant areas. Look at the size of this, you know, like stalactite style cave with the spikes from the floor and the ceiling. Look at the size of you know, this cave right here, and tell me that this isn't different to prior to 1.17. Of course, it's impossible to do, especially when you find all the little elements by themselves, but when you see them together, you can start to appreciate that, like, oh, having bigger caves doesn't just mean sometimes you dig into those bigger caves. It means when you find a bigger cave, there's a chance that bigger cave is connected to another bigger cave, and in fact, it's actually quite likely because they're bigger, so they're more likely to intersect, at least at present, and so that means that you can get these chain reactions where you have these huge, almost underground worlds. Again, it's hard to describe this in many other words besides being just an entire world that happens to be underground, right? I think I took a wrong turn. You know what, caves are confusing, but we're gonna keep on flying through, and damn, we had a dead end. So we're just gonna fly straight back right there and prove that, like, this cave with all of these different exits and entrances, I mean, there are tons of other ones I could have taken on both sides of me, but this cave is absolutely giant. It has a lot of things to be found here, a lot of amethyst geodes, a lot of ores, and you know, this is what mining will, at least to some extent, look like. They don't want mining to be this process where you go digging and you hope that, you know, you hope by God that you find some ores, or like you just keep mining till you do, in a straight line, something that could be done by an auto-clicker. No, mining and caving should be processes of exploration. Even with just the blocks and even with just the ores and just the, you know, the caves I've added so far, it already is such a process to explore, and I think, I could be wrong here, this might be the actual end of the cave. Oh, yep, right over here. As you can see, we've now, with 32 seconds to go, so 2.5 minutes worth of caving through this one cave by flying in creative. It would take you minutes just to see both ends of some caves, and bear in mind, this isn't like a special seed, this is just the one random seed I happened to load up while looking for footage for another video. And, you know, again, the fact that just on a random seed while looking through some caves, I found this, shows that after 1.17, I mean, of course, Seed Sunday, we're gonna have some seeds that chain together caves much more effectively than this. If this is just a random example on the first seed, again, we can either conclude, by the way, and this was right below another medium-sized cave. All around this cave in different places, if you're willing to look for them, there are other types of caves to be found. Isn't that interesting? And yeah, when you look through them too, you can start to appreciate that in their natural light, because I always show caves with night vision, most YouTubers do, it's much easier to see, it's much more bright and appealing, but this is how you'll actually see it when you play Minecraft. You won't be able to torch this thing up effectively. I mean, if we grab a bunch of torches and we even try, even with a dumb number of torch placements, like, okay, place a torch here, and then place a torch there and there, by torching up the cave, you'll never light the entire thing like you can right now. Instead, it's more like placing a breadcrumb trail for you to be able to get back to where your entrance to this cave was, and yeah, basically, the very experience of caves is changing. It's not just that they're much bigger. I've shown you, it takes 2.5 minutes to cross this cave just from one side to the other. And even if we're not crossing it, even if we're just taking little turns and looking for ores or whatever, there are so many different places we can go. We can go high, we can go high, just like this. We can go low, we can go underwater, and believe me, there is benefit to going underwater, as you can see right here. We can go underwater. Huh. It's interesting that we could see the light from inside this cave from outside of it. We can go underwater. We can go to the very depths. It is crazy the amount of options these new caves bring, and it's trying to make the underground a more interesting experience. All of the individual features by themselves. I mean, deep slate and the harder mining that comes with it, and the higher reward in terms of mining, it's interesting enough by itself, right? These aquifers, you know, these giant bodies of water that have local height levels that will change from aquifer to aquifer, very interesting by themselves. The brand new amethyst geodes, super interesting by themselves. And all of these different things make interesting features to look at, maybe not game defining, but what makes a Minecraft update special? What makes the combination of all that work that multiple people dedicate an entire year to, because a year is now just the time frame for a Minecraft update, it seems, but what multiple people spend their year working on is the end result of trying to make Minecraft a more interesting experience in one part of the game. And this part of the game they're really taking a look at is caves, and obviously you might have heard about cliffs as well, but they are really focusing on those two things. And I think that you know, the caves part in particular, obviously I've wanted a cave update forever. Already, just with what we've seen in the first you know, couple months of 2021, just what we've seen so far is already quite astounding. I mean, again, all these individual features that wouldn't seem like too much have led to my first moment where I was like, yeah, already, if they released what we had now, I would be interested beyond belief, but they're not done yet. They have only added one cave biome, plus the existing normal kind of Minecraft caves. They haven't added the deep dark and the terrors that come with that yet. They haven't added the drip, the lush caves, I believe they're called, with the dripstone leaves, etc. Oh, by the way, isn't this so interesting? You can see this is an aquifer up here, but then it goes down, and obviously the light level changes outside of that, but then it goes down even further, and there's a way you can swim from the oh, wait. I lost it, but there's a way you can swim from the aquifer into this cave, just over here. Look at that. Isn't that just... to me, it's incredibly interesting. And again, while you're doing all of this, you're not just doing it for the sake of exploration. They are rewarding you with a lot of ores. 2 diamond veins next to each other here. They are going to be tweaking ores, no doubt, a lot before then. But look at all of the ores that are here for my, you know, reward if I want to do that. If you want to go looking for a bunch of iron to make, you know, hoppers and stuff, no longer, obviously these caves, they're very deep. You're not going to find much iron here, you will. Then no longer is that thing. If you want to find a bunch of diamonds because you're a diamond player, you want to make full diamond armor, but you don't want to trade it or do it any of the other ways, then great. You will now be able to have a fun time doing that. Rather than just, oh yeah, caves are what they are. Caves are becoming something special. And the process of doing all of this, because again, that idea that like every individual feature might not seem hugely important by itself, but together they add into this experience where Minecraft World Gen combines them together and makes a mega cave, which whether they make this more or less likely is something we don't know before the final version. Again, I want to clarify, this is a snapshot. This type of mega cave could be incredibly rare by the final version, or they could be much more common. They could be much bigger. We don't know for sure. Sorry, I heard some noises in the background there. It sounded like someone was breathing just outside my door, and you know what, that's terrifying. But the interesting thing about these caves, and look at we're back here at the start or this time later. The interesting thing about these caves, in my opinion, is they you know, it's the process of like emergence. Lots of individual changes that by themselves seem pretty normal. I mean, they added new types of caves to Minecraft. Here is a type of cave. Here is another type of cave, the aquifer. They add lots of individual types of caves to Minecraft. Then they add different blocks to Minecraft. That's pretty normal too. That's pretty expectable. Every individual change makes sense by itself. Even the lowering the you know, where you can see deep slate, we're below Y0 now. Yeah, that makes some sense. They can play around with that. But then when you combine lots of pretty easy to understand individual things, you get this much more complex behavior, and that's called emergence. When simple properties combine together to make complex results, that is what we call call emergence. And, you know, a great example of this might be, some people like to say, like, a bunch of ants. They make an ant colony, which can pick up bananas, many, you know, like, and stuff like that, and move them around the jungle. Sure, that's interesting. Not my thing, though. What I think is interesting is, take, for example, traffic. Every individual person in traffic is piloting this death vehicle, and if there's a misunderstanding between two people, the two death vehicles crash into each other at high speeds, and lots of people die in a flaming inferno. But this doesn't happen very often. I mean, it happens more often than we'd like, but instead there are basic traffic rules everyone is following. When you come to a roundabout, you don't go unless there's a car. When you see a stop sign, you stop the car and you look to see if it's safe. You know, tiny things like that. The idea of traffic lights are very simple messages and very easy to understand messages, but when you combine them together, you get cities that can move millions of vehicles every single day, and that is kind of something I'm realizing through Minecraft. I mean, you could kind of, you know, with previous updates, I don't think they've ever really altered something to this extremity. I mean, with the village and pillage update, yeah, they did lots of nice things to villages. With the, you know, like the Buzzy Bees update, they made a new insect. That was cute. You know, with the update Aquatic, they made oceans more interesting, so you might want to go there. But this is, maybe because it's my favorite part of Minecraft, I'm starting to see it more. This is truly inventing almost a whole new game, a whole new area to explore that will be below everything. It is, you know, the depth of this new update is really insane to see, and it's crazy to me that we are going to see even more features on top of this, because this is the point where I say, yeah, I'm excited for new caves, even as they are now. If I could just, again, obviously, if I could just enjoy it as it is right now, just play some survival in the snapshot, I'd be happy with that. Obviously, that's not a thing I do on my channel. I don't like to encourage people to play in snapshots or betas. They're very unstable. You can lose a lot of work. Please don't put your long-term worlds into these things. But the fact that, like, it to me, I'm like, yeah, we're good. We are in a level of update that I am very happy with already. That says some promising things about the future. We wanted a cave update forever. We didn't know if it was ever happening, and then they've delivered, and here we are now. And just by adding a lot of simple changes, which we've seen, like, you know, like a few changes every week for the last, you know, like 5 or 6 weeks. Just those changes alone have already changed. Ooh, look at that. There's some stone. There's some non-deep sleep version of the lapis ore. But just in the last, just within the last few weeks alone, we've seen the caves in Minecraft shift in a way that I think is very interesting. Anyway, so a thing to keep in mind, and I'm always going to say this because I think it's important, is that there are a lot of snapshots to come. Ore distribution will change. Will there be more or less ores? I mean, I'd guess less. Cave distribution will cave. Will the cave will, you know, cave distribution will cave in to demand for bigger caves. No, so cave distribution will change as well. We will see differently sized caves, differently shaped caves, different frequencies of these things. It's going to happen, and you know, whether this is common by the end is something we've yet to see. But the fact that it's even possible now, and therefore very likely to be possible later, the fact that you will actually be able to use an Elytra in a cave, non-ironically, non-sarcastically, without having to dig one out for yourself, that is something I find incredible. Again, this feels like Terraforce Swoop or Glide, or you know, whichever one of those two you're more familiar with. The fact that you can truly fly through these caves, and they're like, again, it's a real highlighted feature, is interesting. Actually, to be more interesting here, so you know how it took 2.5 minutes to go from this area at the start of the cave to the end? Right now, just for fun, let's drink a night vision potion, let's hop into survival, and let's see how long it takes us. Let's see how long it takes us to get to that end point in the cave before our night vision runs out here. Because again, there are caves now so big you have to use an Elytra if you want to get across them in time, and that is interesting. It also, though, represents a big issue. Maybe issue is the wrong word, but a big change, because how are you gonna, you know, like when you look at any above ground biome, it's easy to understand how you can change that biome and kind of make a home into it. How do you deal with these caves? You can't terraform a cave. I don't believe so. At least a cave of this size. Yeah, what do you do with it? Is there going to be a reason to live in caves, etc., etc., like we did the Never update? It's hard to be sure what the answer to any of these questions are. All I know for sure right now is that I am excited, and I just wanted to share that excitement with all of you, because the cave update is here, and it's only getting better, and that is an exciting premise that maybe you find exciting too. Or maybe you disagree with. Maybe you think the caves aren't changing. Maybe you think they're already good enough and you wish the cave update wasn't happening. If that's true, then unsubscribe and then let me know how the house fight goes. Anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you all in the next one. Good. By the way, I forgot to check, but that took less than a minute. But it's still almost a minute of Elytra flying to get from one side of the cave to the other. And this isn't a big cave. There are bigger caves. It's crazy. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.